Hey ladies and gents, I've been busy on the Revere lately. Tank bag arrived, so that's a good size. What I've been doing is, I've got the same thing laid out here anyway. I'm putting in a loom and a relay set. The relays, I'll put up a wiring diagram just in case anybody wants to do the same thing. I wanted to have the electric gloves, the GPS, and in here we have two different outlets. This one here has got a voltmeter and the USB double outlet, and this one here has got a single USB and a cigarette lighter socket. So I wanted to be able to have those, and well, I'll show everything running in a little bit anyway, but I wanted to have those so that while the bike's running, no worries at all, power's going to everything. As soon as the bike's not running but the ignition is still on, there's going to be a buzzer, which is, and a little light, which is what this is. It's a reversing light that I've hooked up. So that tells me that the ignition's still on, because I've got a habit of getting stuff out of the saddlebags and going inside and forgetting that I've still got the keys in the ignition and the ignition's still turned on. And I come out here half an hour later and the battery's flat because the headlight's on as well. So I wanted to be reminded if that ever happened, so now I will be, because of the buzzer. Now I also, to hook up the buzzer unit, what I've got is I've got the power going through the first relay just like a normal relay, but that feeds to the second relay. Now the first relay is triggered by the ignition wire. Alright, so when the ignition's on, the power goes to the second relay. When the ignition's not on, I've got a wire coming forward that I can hook up a solar panel to. So that'll put power back into the bike and to the actual battery. So that wire's only live when the ignition and the bike are totally off. When there's ignition power, that triggers the first relay, puts power to the second relay. Now, when there's just power going to it, the earth to trigger the relay is actually an extra oil pressure switch. So when the engine's off, the earth goes through the pressure switch. So when the engine's off, that puts earth to the second relay, which will sound the buzzer, telling me that the power to the ignition is still on. Normally running, there's no earth, so it's not triggered, so therefore the 87A off of that one I've got going to, what does that go to? Oh, that puts power to everything up the front, to the gloves and everything else. I'll put full wiring diagrams of how I've set it all out and all of that sort of thing. Hey Jay. So I'll do that later, but what I'll do now is strip the bike down so that I can put that buzzer in. So what I will do is get in and pull it apart, and I'll fast forward that bit so that I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, let's try that. Perfect. Alright, so up the front here, I've got 3 outlets that go to the GPS holder with the USB outlet. Another one goes to the electric gloves, the heated gloves. I don't have that going at the moment. So just to stop the rain from going into the plugs at times, I've got both of these plugged in. And I'll actually show you. So even these, that won't light up. Yeah, I'll do that again because I had the switch off at the back. So ignition goes to on, that's still not lighting up. When it started, now it lights up. So there we go. So that's good. So that loom goes back to plug back here and splits up between these 2 relays. Let's see, which one is it? This is the first relay. The main power comes into this one. That's triggered by the ignition to turn on to put the power to the second one, and from the second one it either goes to the power to the loom or power to the buzzer, depending on if the motor's running or not. that's triggered by the oil pressure switch, like I was saying earlier. Couple of fuses up here. Now in the back area, underneath the tail, is where I'm going to be putting a dual camera system, front and rear camera, as well as the alarm and the GPS tracker. Toolbox is down the side anyway, so I don't need that area really. But that's the wiring done. So now I'll put it back together and I'll be ready to go for a ride in a short time. Alrighty, ladies and gents, well, that is all of that on this wiring project. Next thing, like I say, to be added is the GPS tracker, front and rear camera, and the alarm system, which is why there are actually extra plugs here that aren't plugged into stuff yet, is because they are for those. So they're there ready to go. Alrighty, ladies and gents, we'll have a good one. Like I say, I'll put the wiring diagrams that I've done up and some pictures of how it's been done into this at the start and the end. So, yep. Have a good day. See you later.